Every one of us wakes up with something on our mind. A goal, a fear, a to-do list, a deadline, a dream. But in the chaos of life and the constant noise of the world, most of us never stop to ask ourselves one essential question. Am I focusing on the right thing? Because life doesn't reward effort alone. It rewards direction. And if you climb fast, work hard, burn energy, and stay busy but climb the wrong ladder, you'll reach the top and realize you've wasted years of your life chasing something that never really mattered to you in the first place. This is the tragedy of misaligned focus. This is the price we pay for not stopping long enough to reflect. We live in a time where productivity is worshipped and busyness is glorified. The moment someone says they're overwhelmed, we applaud their commitment. But being busy doesn't mean you're being effective. It doesn't mean you're living your purpose. It doesn't even mean you're progressing. You can be exhausted and still be lost. You can be successful and still be empty. You can check every box and still feel like you're missing something. That's the silent struggle of so many people today. They're doing everything right, except the thing that really matters. We're told to grind, to hustle, to move faster. But we are rarely told to pause, to think, to question. Yet it is only in the pause that clarity is found. And only with clarity can we truly focus. Focus is not just about aiming. It's about aiming well. It's about knowing why you're pointing your energy in a particular direction. And that why, that deeper reason, is what separates those who live with passion and conviction from those who simply exist in routine and reaction. The truth is, most of us are not afraid of hard work. We're afraid of wasting our hard work on the wrong thing. We're afraid of putting in all the hours, all the emotion, all the time, and waking up one day with a life that looks impressive on the outside, but feels meaningless on the inside. So how do you know? How do you know you're not chasing someone else's dream? How do you know you're not spending your one precious life in service of something that won't fulfill you? How do you know you're focusing on the right thing? That answer isn't found in your calendar. It's not on your resume. It's not in your paycheck. It's in your alignment. And when what you do matches who you are, when your energy flows toward what matters most, when your actions reflect your values, that's when you know. That's when focus becomes fuel, not friction. That's when your effort compounds into joy, not just results. But getting there isn't automatic. It requires courage. It requires reflection. And most of all, it requires the willingness to stop, zoom out, and ask the hard questions. What am I really building? What am I truly chasing? Whose voice am I listening to? These are not questions of strategy. They're questions of the strategy. They're questions of the soul. And until we answer them, we'll always be at risk of misdirection. So this is your call to pause, to realign, to go deeper, to rediscover what truly matters and focus your life on that. Because nothing is more powerful than a person who knows what they're here for and has the discipline to pursue only that. You don't need to do more. You need to do what matters. You need to focus on the right thing. Most people don't realize they're drifting until it's too late. They wake up in a job they don't love, in a life that doesn't reflect their values, chasing approval they never really needed. That's what happens when focus is borrowed instead of built. When you inherit someone else's expectations, your parents, societies, your social circles, you stop living intentionally. You start reacting. You start striving for goals you didn't choose, and over time you become a stranger to your own purpose. But here's the truth. Clarity is not a luxury. It's a necessity. You can't live a meaningful life unless you know what's meaningful to you. And that clarity doesn't come from doing more. It comes from looking within. You must begin with why. That simple, powerful word, why, is your compass. When you don't know your why, every distraction feels like an opportunity, every shiny thing looks like success. But when you are anchored in your purpose, you become immovable. Your vision sharpens, you stop trying to do everything, and you start doing the right things. That's the gift of focus. It filters the noise, it cancels out the irrelevant, and it pulls you back to center. But to get there, you must do the hard work. Not the external work, but the internal work. You have to sit with discomfort. You have to confront the parts of yourself you've ignored, the doubts, the fears, the need for validation, and ask yourself, what is this really about? Because sometimes we chase success to prove we're enough. Sometimes we stay busy because we're afraid of being still. And sometimes we say yes to things that drain us because we haven't learned how to honor what we truly want. Focus begins where honesty begins. My goodness. If you can't be honest with yourself about what you want and why you want it, you'll always be at war with your own path. You'll self-sabotage. You'll burn out. You'll settle. But when you start telling yourself the truth, even when it scares you, you unlock a kind of power that can't be shaken by failure or rejection. You stop living by default and start living by design. Look at the people you admire, not just for their accomplishments, but for their peace. They have a kind of stillness in their spirit. It's not because they do more, it's because they do less, better. They protect their focus like it's sacred, because it is. They don't chase every trend. They don't say yes to every offer. They don't allow urgency to replace importance. They choose their direction based on values, not volume. And that is what allows them to grow with intention. The question is, do you know what's essential in your life right now? Do you know what deserves your full attention and what needs to be released? Are you making choices from alignment or from anxiety? These are the questions that separate growth from noise, movement from progress. If you feel stretched too thin, if you feel like you're always running but never arriving, it's time to stop. It's time to audit your life. Not in terms of tasks, but in terms of truth. Where are you investing your energy? What are you building? Who are you becoming? You don't get your focus back by force. You get it back by choice. By saying no to distractions so you can say yes to purpose. By cutting out the good to make space for the great. That's the paradox of high performance. Doing less, but doing it deeply. Not trying to please everyone, but trying to fulfill your role in the world. When you do that, you stop reacting and start creating, and start creating. And creation is the birthplace of fulfillment. In the end, the quality of your life will be measured not by how much you did, but by how aligned your actions were with your purpose. You don't need to chase more. You need to chase meaning. You don't need to impress the world. You need to fulfill your role in it. Focus is not just about tuning out noise. It's about tuning into what truly matters. It's about having the courage to say no to what's popular, comfortable, or expected, so you can say yes to what is true, necessary, and deeply yours. It's about waking up every day and reminding yourself, I'm not here to be everything to everyone. I'm here to be fully me. And when you live from that place of clarity, every decision becomes easier. Every action becomes intentional. Every day becomes purposeful. So pause, reflect, and realign. Ask yourself not just what you are doing, but why. Ask yourself not just where your time is going, but where your heart is leading you. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop chasing someone else's version of success. Your life is now. Your mission is waiting. Your mission is waiting. And your focus is the bridge between dreaming and doing. Make it count. Focus on the right thing, not because it's easy, but because it's yours. And in doing so, you'll not only find fulfillment, you'll light the way for others to do the same. You already have the strength. You already have the talent. What you need is the vision. What you need is the alignment. What you need is the discipline to focus on the one thing that will make everything else matter. This is how you live on purpose. This is how you know you're focusing on the right thing. Not by doing more, but by choosing better. Never looking back.